Yo, what up? It's your boy JJ Stone, aka O Doctor. Welcome to DocTales episode 13. A woo. I've been living the dream. You probably been living the dream. Get the business out of the way. If you got money, you can throw it to me on Patreon, and then I'll do more of these, and I'll do my job like I'm supposed to. I swear to God that I will. There's like things and incentives that make me do that. If you're broke, like most of you are, then all you got to do is click the subscribe button. You can subscribe on YouTube, RSS, iTunes, whatever. Just go there and click that button, and it's free for you, and it makes me feel good about myself that I think that you care. And if you did that, even being a broke bitch, it don't matter. So, I mean, either way, if you got money, throw the money. If you don't, then don't throw the money, but just be here for me like I'm here for you, because I love you just as much as you love me, and you can believe that in your heart. Anywhoozy, today is a great day. I have one of my best internet real life friends here with me today. This is the kind of guy you call him in the middle of the night, you say, I've been stabbed, and he'll show up in like half an hour. But if you call him in the middle of the night and say, hey, you want to do my podcast, he'll say sure. And then the next day we don't do it, and then that night we don't do it, and then the next day after that we don't do it, because I'm a really flexible person, and I shouldn't have said that I was so flexible, because then the next day we didn't do it, and then he was in the gym, he was saving babies, he was doing all kinds of stuff. But since I started with the fact this is like one of my best friends in the world, I can't even be mad at him. He's so cute. It's Brian Brushwood. Say what's up to the people,
man.
Brian.
Look, I knew you were going to call me out. You're every bit justified in doing so. I'm so sorry, but I'm glad we're here. Look, man, all that other stuff, that trouble, that was in the past. That was before right now. Right now is the moment that matters.
Like I said, if I needed you for something, you'd be there, and that's all that matters to me. We're easy peasy when it goes to that. Like, if I was in trouble, I'm not worried about Brian showing up.
Yeah, dude, look, you just tell me where the body is, and I'll come up with a shovel.
That's all we need. That's all we need. Out there in Texas, there's plenty of room to roam. So the reason I want to talk to you this week is because this week, I don't know what's in the water. I don't know if somebody saw a certain picture of my daughter, but I had like 6 or 7 people say this statement to me. Oh, you're going to be in trouble soon. You better watch out. Oh, this girl's, you know what I mean? And I'm sitting there like, so what is going on that you just think that my daughter's going to be predatorized in like the next 3 years, or she's going to turn into some weird alien and lose all her cuteness and love for me and berate me? And I'm sitting there thinking like, I only got one daughter. You got 3 daughters.
Oh, yeah, I have an incoming apocalypse. I mean, luckily, they're all coming to age at different rates and times. Like my 9-year-old is now following your daughter. How old is your daughter?
My daughter's 9 too, so they're the same age.
She's now following your daughter on this Musical.ly stuff, and she's on the social media. She's posting, and she's concerned with how exciting, and she's creating all these amazing she's writing signs to doing little cartoons, all this stuff, stop motion animations for all this. Meanwhile, my 12-year-old, she does not care. She's got her nose buried in a book, and all she wants to do is learn the piano, do her acting, and study science. She's all excited. She wants a 3D printer.
A 3D printer?
3D printer.
So, see, now let's talk about the 9-year-old. So that's kind of semi my fault that she's on the social media, because me and Bonnie had one of our random conversations, and she was talking to me about it, and I was telling her that, look, if the kid wants to do it, then do it and be involved with them, so that way you can train them up before they get to the age where it's like, quote unquote, mandatory, before it's at the age where it's like, Dad, everybody else is doing it, you're just trying to hold back my life. So that way they kind of know the rules and they understand the game. Me and my daughter actually we started watching some of her videos last night after the movies, and she fell asleep watching a whole bunch of her Musical.lys, and she was like, oh, this is where you go in Texas, you should take me with you. And I'm sitting there like, well, when we get there, they ship their kids off, so I'd have to ship you off with grandma with the kids, because the kids aren't there. So we gotta come out and visit now, because she watched a whole bunch of her videos, and I've talked about you guys before and stuff.
Sure.
So she's like, why don't we go there? And I'm like, yeah, let's just go on a vacation to Austin and ruin Brian's week.
Well, I mean, you're welcome to do it. That'd be a blast. But you know what's weird is, Josie's friends, the kids were excited that when we had the TV show, we got cable and everything so that they could watch it on TV. And they're like, oh, that's Dad on a TV show. That's so much fun. And then it just went nowhere. And then like a year later, it pops up on Netflix. And then all of a sudden, Josie is thinking like, oh, Dad, you're famous. You're on Netflix. I was like, dude, I was on real cable before. Yeah. Now, it's okay, whatever. But then of all of her friends, and now she's over it again, but one of her friends is like a fan, which is weird because every time I walk out of the room, I'm wearing gym shorts and schlubby. I'm headed off to the gym or whatever. And she goes, "Hello, Brian Brushwood. Are you off to go do some scams at the bar?" It's weird.
It's totally weird. And especially because, again, when they're kids, so our daughters are quote unquote good girls that, they're raising them right and all that kind of stuff. And they're not overtly sexual. You know what I mean?
Sure.
They're more about doing things. Like you said, your daughter wanted a 3D printer. My daughter asked me if she could make a video game for Christmas. That's what she asked for. And I'm like, so you want to get up on Christmas Day and learn and do something? So I've been teaching her Swift coding, but I also got this other thing. It's really cool. It's like Light Bright. You take a picture with your iPad, you make the board, and then you make your character, and you can physically make a game that imports into the iPad that you can play.
Wow.
It seems very basic, but it's like Super Mario Brothers, that, where you can make a coin, you could jump and collect it and do the things like that. But we're going to do that Christmas Day, so she'll be super hyped about doing that. But I watched some of her friends' Musical.lys. This is why when I told Bonnie, I'm like, look, this is why you kind of want to get ahead of it, because the same girls, the same age, are doing very different song choices than what my daughter's doing, and very different suggestive dances than what my daughter's doing. A group of her friends did one Musical.ly on her thing, and I'm like, that girl cannot do your Musical.ly anymore. You do your Musical.ly, because it was one of the Drake songs, the bitches and the hoes, and I got the bitches, and the girls were in the background, and they were this girl's bitches, and I'm like, it's like girl power, but I'm like, you're still rapping about bitches, and y'all singing about bitches. Okay, Leah, all right, now that's what we gotta.
It's weird, at the age of 9, I'm having to say, look, here's the thing: if you're gonna do this, you gotta realize you're representing our brand in a public forum, and as such, we need to approve what you're doing out there, and we had to explain it in real basic terms, where it's like this lyric, oh my God, look at her butt, you might think it's funny to stick your butt out or whatever, and she's like, well, I wouldn't do that. I'm like, I know you wouldn't, but also there's a reason that you shouldn't, and it affects other people. So we all need to keep an eye on this. I don't know. It's weird. I'm building a brand manager now.
Yeah, it's totally funny. She wants to get into photography. So she's on Instagram. And again, she's at the point where she might get 2 or 3 random likes because nobody's really following her yet. But it's also good because she's not hungry for that like button. You know, she's posting the pictures that she wants to post, the videos that she wants to post, or she'll tell me, hey, take a picture with your good camera and post it. We went and saw Moana last night. She's like, oh, can we go find a picture of Moana online so I can post something about, but her mindset isn't hungry for, I've got to do this so people like my picture.
Right. This is how I derive validation as a human being.
Yes, it's more about her creating her own content and putting up something that makes her happy, which, again, I'm just hoping that in 3 or 4 years, she's got that built into her core to where once likes start coming into play, it's not going to really matter.
Right.
I'd rather her be, and I also show her very good examples. I show her these super hot, goofy girls that keep all their clothes on and get bajillions of likes, and I'm like, now look at this girl. She's like, why is she shaking her boobs in the camera? I'm like, right? She's got just as many likes as this girl over here making a stupid face. You know why? I'm like, because people can relate to girls that are normal and cool too. These other girls are serving a totally different purpose. She's like, yeah, I don't like that. I'm like, yeah, we don't like that.
Let's just remember that, kiddo.
Yeah, so it's very interesting, like you said, building a brand manager when they're young, and it's not like they're YouTube kids and things like that where they're just like, I feel bad for some of these kids. We watch some of these videos with the kids, and I tell her, I'm like, it's like she wants to start a YouTube channel. She's made 2 or 3 videos that I help her with, and she's like, I don't know how they do 2 videos a day, Dad. I'm like, how are they going to school doing 2 videos a day talking about a toy, and then they don't seem interested, but they've got 1 million views and 1 million hits? I'm like, it's a job. And I'm like, it's crazy to me, how hard some of these kids are working. Some of them have fun, but some of them it's like, yo, give this kid a break. I know he's like your meal ticket right now, but my goodness, he's 10.
Yeah, that's one of the best bits of advice, almost 20 years ago when I was writing an email and back and forth with Teller. We talked about the nature of fame, and he said, fame is helpful in that it opens doors to do what you want artistically, and it makes it easier to get bookings and stuff. But hope it comes slowly. The worst thing that can happen is when you get too much fame too quick, and anyone under the age of 18 who's become famous, I have nothing but pity for. And I'm not I don't know, not pity, but that's a rough spot to be in where it's like that's going to set your bar for the rest of your life. You're going to be chasing. You're going to think you're subnormal from then on. That's rough.
Yeah, it's crazy. I tell people all the time, like, because we have friends in business and marketing and stuff like that. I'm like, oh, your daughter's beautiful. You should bring her up to New York. I'll get her in a shoot or whatever like that. And I'm like, look, can I at least wait till she's like 12 or 13? I'm not trying to Michael Jackson my kid. Like, I want her to have a childhood and have friends and normalcy and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, I could go shove her in something and ask my friends to do me favors and go get her work. But I'm like, why? I'm not trying to spend my whole summers with her, not with her friends, trying to like make some menial money that it's not like we're destitute right now. You know what I mean? So,
well, and plus also, like, you want to be her dad, not her manager. Like you don't want to look at your daughter doing goofing around on set and think, oh, this is really damaging. They this is costing a lot of money, and we promised them there's a reputation, and it's like, no, she should be playing, and you should be her dad, and that's that.
And doing stuff. And here's the other thing too. Not for nothing, I like humble bragging, but dude, everybody in the world shouldn't be raising kids apparently. Because
what do you mean?
All I hear all the time is, oh, the kids are so addicted to the devices. They don't talk to us. They don't want to do anything. And your daughter's out here making comic books. The other one's out here building spaceships. And I'm like, my daughter's out here with 6 of her little friends playing catch the leaves as they fall off the trees, like running back and forth across the yard. And the game was to catch the leaves. And I'm looking at them like, this is the stupidest thing in the world, but it's so great. No tablets, no video games, just out in the backyard, chasing each other down to catch a freaking leaf. And I'm like, I'm a good parent. I know how to raise a child. Like, I hear the complaints, and I think about you, and I think about other friends. I'm like, some people are just doing it wrong, bro. Like, you're sitting out here complaining.
I mean, it's cliche to say it, but we recently took a break from television as a family. Not me. I had to watch TV for my job. It's for cord killers. That's my job.
Work, son. Work.
But basically, like, the kids were having a diet entirely of these Disney Channel snarky, sassy shows, right? Where it's always, you got the quirky girl, and everything is like problem, and then sassy blow off, and then everyone laughs, and the kids were really trying that on around the house, and it's like, this is not a sitcom. There is no audience. Also, that's canned laughter and fake. Nobody's laughing on set either. Like, stop it. Knock it up. You're not watching that. And so now, like, the only stuff the kids are allowed to watch for a while is stuff that our 3-year-old is watching. So they're watching, like, Kipper the dog and whatnot.
So we watch. She was watching that stuff, but me being the kind of authoritative person I am, she never really tried to check me. But I have heard stories of her trying to check her mom with that weird canned stuff. But now she watches YouTube videos. And this is something, again, about parenting that I noticed. One night she was feeling sick, and she's like, oh, can I sleep in your bed? And I'm like, sure. She's sleeping, and I go to lay down, and maybe like half hour of me sitting there, I hear, damn it, Pat, get out of the way. I've got to get the moves. And I'm like, wow, she's dead in her sleep. She's never cursed in her life, Brian. I'll tell you a story about her cursing, the only time I caught her cursing, but she never curses. And it was because she watches so much Pat and Jen, and they say, damn it, and hell. And it's a Minecraft show. So they play Minecraft. They build Minecraft. It was so embedded in her brain. She woke up the next morning. I'm like, yo, no Pat and Jen for 2 weeks. She's like, what? I'm like, yo, you're talking Pat and Jen? She's just like, Dad, no, I didn't. I'm like, yo, you said, damn it, Pat, get out of the way. And she's like, I really did. I was like, yes. I'm like, no Pat and Jen for 2 weeks. So I limit that, because anything that they do consume too much, it gets in their brain. I watch a show, binging it. I dream I'm a lawyer in the middle of the night. You know what I mean? Because I've watched 3 seasons back to back, so I know how it is. But it's just funny how kids, like, they will receive this thing, so you just got to check them every once in a while and take it back from them. But when you don't, and you say, "Oh, my daughter cries when I take it away," and she gets, I was like, kids cry, bro.
Yeah.
You just maybe you should have cut them off sooner.
This is why we don't put kids in charge of raising themselves. As it turns out, they want things that aren't healthy.
It's not really good. Adults shouldn't be in charge of raising themselves sometimes because they want things that aren't healthy.
And I feel bad.
So especially kids. But so she, even when we're in the car, we listen to songs, we listen to music and, rap music and stuff like that. Like when somebody says shit, she'll say sugar. And like she already automatically corrects herself. And one time I was in the car, and it was three of her friends and my buddy, the dad of two of the kids, were in the car, and I was playing an old song, and none of the kids knew it, but me and my buddy and Leah knew it because I played a lot. And it's like, it's Beanie Man and the Girls Them Sugar, the girls them need this nigga. And for some reason, she's singing so loud, and she's like, you guys don't know this song? And she always edits herself. I hit pause on nigga, and she was like, they need this nigga. And I'm just like,
that's amazing.
She was just looking around, she's like, oh, Dad, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to say, I'm sorry. I'm like, it's cool. You know, the dad's laughing, I'm laughing. And
Justin Robert Young's favorite replacement for the N-word is ninny, which I think is hilarious.
Ninny?
He's like, ninny, please. But my oldest hates cursing, hates hearing me curse, hates just in general. Like, she is very familiar with all the words, derives no pleasure from it, doesn't want to sneak them in when nobody's listening or any of that.
Yeah, I don't know if she's that way, but I know she just doesn't say it. Like, she knows something's a bad word. She lets me say it. She never tries to check me on it, but it's just funny because she just, she knows better. So I don't really bust her balls about it. But again, when you talk to kids, you explain it to them, and if you don't start talking around them like that when they're young, when she was little, I wouldn't say anything like that, remotely close. Once she got older and she knew what, Dad, they're talking HE double hockey sticks in school. That's a bad word. So we went through the list of bad words, and a conversation you really don't have, I have to have, is I explained to her how the N-word works.
Right. Well, and how does that go? Because for us, it's a very simple thing. It's like, that's an awful word. You should never, ever use it. Some other people might use it. You're not going to be one of them. That's the end of discussion.
So, I've said a couple times, but for anybody new listening, my friends call Leah Leah Farrakhan or Spike Leah. She's very, I wouldn't say just pro-black. She's very pro be nice to people, and history has not been good to people, and she doesn't like that. She's the type of kid that her mom's German, and when she found out what Hitler did, she was crying, talking about, I don't want to be German because I don't want to be associated with people that ever did that to somebody. I'm like, well, check, first of all, even the Jews that lived there happened to be German at the time, so there still were good Germans. You know what I mean? The Nazis aren't representative of all Germans. Like, I got to break it down to her because she was really upset. She's like, I don't want to be German. So we talked about the curse words, and then I was like, you've heard, people say nigger before, right? And she's like, I hear it in songs and stuff. I was like, anybody ever say it to you in school or anybody say? She's like, no, the kids don't say that. I was like, okay, well, let me explain to you how it works. Because we watched a documentary, and she knows the word. And she's like, why would people call somebody that name to be mean to them? And that's what it was. It was about the 60s, and they were shouting at the... And so I said, look, it's a word that was derogatorily used towards people to put them down. Those people, in general, tried to turn it around for themselves so they didn't feel as bad about it. And they changed the inflection of it, which changes the meaning of it. So when a black person says it to another black person, you could tell by the context of how he means it. He's like, oh, that's my nigga right there. He's saying that's my boy, that's my friend. When a person that is outside that racial spectrum, or even in that racial spectrum, says it in a derogatory way, like, that nigger needs to die, or something like that. Like, we went through those basic things, and so she understood it. She didn't know why anybody would say it, which is, how that works, because she's a kid, she's smart.
Right. And
to which I said, well, you're not allowed to say it anyway. It's on your no saying list. Like, you can't say it. But when you get older, you have a free pass to say that word. You're good to go.
But again, it's all in the context, because I'm sure if she said it like with hate in her heart, then no, she doesn't have a pass in that situation.
So, but so this was happening, right? So she said, okay, she leaves. I'm sitting there watching TV. She comes back like 20, 30 minutes later, and she says, so I just want to ask a question about the word. Right? She's like, so I can say it in the summertime, but I can't say it in the wintertime.
What?
And I'm like, what? I was like, what do you mean? She's like when I'm allowed to say it, I can say it in the summer, but I can't say it in the winter. And I'm like, I don't understand what you're saying. She's like, I get really dark in the summer when I tan. I'm dark. In the winter, like, I'm really white. And I'm like, so when I'm white, I can't say it. I started like I almost teared up. I was laughing so hard because I was like, "Oh, like that is so funny," and
That's
I'm like,
amazing.
How kids' brains work, you know? Because she does like in the wintertime. I've had people come up to me when I'm walking through the store. "Oh, girl, do you know where your mom is? Are you okay?" And I'm like, "I'm her dad. Get the fuck out of here." And in the summertime, you know, she kind of looks like my kid or a little Spanish kid or something because she gets really, really dark. Like she gets almost as dark as me. And I was screaming. I'm like, "Leah, that's really, yes, but no, Leah, you're half black. Like you get the carte blanche to say it whenever you want, just on GP, you know?" And I cried laughing that day. Oh, so we went and saw Moana. We're going to talk about that in a second.
Yeah, sure.
But when we came back from Moana, you know, we were singing the "You're Welcome," and then a Christmas song came on, and I always change the words of stuff because I was like, I took you to the movies, you're welcome, all that stuff. And so A White Christmas came on, and we were coming into the house, and I was like, don't you wish you had a white dad, like a white Christmas? She's like, "You'd be so boring if you were a white dad." And I'm like, "That's what you think I'd be?" She's like, "I don't know. I just could never imagine you being white. I couldn't imagine me being all white." And I'm like, "Okay." She's like, "Can I tell you something?" And she always says that, like, you know, not to offend her mom in her mind. She's like, "Can I tell you something? If I had to pick a color between me being black or white, I'd pick being black." And I'm just like, "Okay, Leah, why?" She's like, "Because I wouldn't want people judging me for the history of horrible things that white people have done. I wouldn't want somebody looking at me like I'm a bad person because I'm white." And I'm just like, okay.
That's amazing.
And I try to tell her all the time, I'm like, Africans had slaves, you know, Egyptians had Jewish slaves, like slavery's throughout history. Kong had slaves, Asians had slaves. Like, I tell her all that stuff, but in her mind, it's just the white devil, you know, because that's the most recent thing that you're seeing, all the stuff going on, and it cracks me up so much.
Man, that is the kind of thing that is so challenging. I'm glad they teach all that in school because I don't even know how to explain the awful history of race relations in general, and much less how to explain, because, you know, you come on Night Attack and we in BB Live Show and stuff, you know, we call you our racial liaison. I don't even know how to explain this sort of like post-racism, ironic, you know, like joking with your friends, like, "Oh, that's because you're Asian," or whatever. Like, I don't even know how to explain that line to her. And it's horrifying and electric to me from a comedic standpoint, which is why we keep dancing all over it. But at the same time, like, I don't know how to explain that in a way that doesn't get my kid thinking like it's hilarious to make fun of a race.
Well, it's really crazy because schools don't do it. Now Texas tried to last year institute a new book, a history book that called slaves indentured servants.
Right.
And people lost their shit because, like, no, they weren't indentured servants, bro. Like, they got sold. So some people try to change it. And history here, like, even if my daughter didn't ask 2 years ago, she said, "Hey, what was Christopher Columbus about? Was he a good guy?" Because I guess somebody in school knew, one of the kids knew, and said he was a bad guy. And so her mother's a teacher. And she's white, so I try not to just bash white people or when I can. So I said, "Oh, well, ask your mom. She's a teacher. She'll tell you." And her mom gave the worst answer to a child that seeks the truth. She said, "Oh, well, Lee, I don't really know. I wasn't there. You know, he did some good things, he did some bad things. I don't know." So I found this cartoon about Christopher Columbus, and it showed about how he was murdering and kidnapping people and all this kind of stuff. And she's like, "Mom, he was a murderous, rapist, killing this guy. The only good thing he could do is sail. He was a great sailor, Mom, but he was just a bad guy." And now she went to school, and the teacher's like, "Oh, we got to do this Columbus stuff." And Leah's like, "I'm not doing it." And the teacher's like, "Why?" She's like, "Because he killed people and took over Ireland." And the teacher's like, "You know what? You don't have to do it, Leah." And she did the same thing for Thanksgiving. She's like, "Oh, how was Thanksgiving with the Indians and the Pilgrims? Was everybody nice to each other?"
Now, you're like, well,
our number one rule is don't lie. So when she asks me a direct question, I don't lie. Like, she won't ask me about Santa Claus because she knows better.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, and that's a tough thing to do. We do the same thing. We never hit the kids and we never lie to them. And, you know, there's a lot of stuff that I hope that they don't ask about and they haven't asked. But when they do, it's like, I'm going to be direct or not, or indirect, whatever it is. But what I'm not going to do is take refuge in the simplicity that comes with a flat answer that I know to be untrue, but that will be comforting to her.
Yeah. So let me ask you that now. So you don't hit the kids. Were you hit as a kid?
Yeah, I was. I had spankings.
Was Bonnie?
Yeah.
So what made you guys say no spanking?
To be honest, mainly just because research indicates it doesn't help. Like there's no indication that it works. It doesn't work is the short one. And if it doesn't work, then, I understand it's easy. It's the simplest solution a lot of times. But if the trade-off is, have the more complicated solution, put more effort in to solve things and guide the kids without beating them, then I'm willing to take on that effort to have a legacy of, my kid not ever having a memory of me hitting them.
So your kids are good. So it's working out for you. So
no.
It's not working out for you?
Well, no. Well, we've had to seriously relearn, because that's the problem is spanking. That was off the table for us, but as a result, it made things really complicated in some ways. Insofar as that's a tool that you can use to accomplish something in a fast and expedient manner, and once that's off the table, you can't. You get in arguments. My oldest is pretty much immune to punishment. Is once she gets wound up, it can be grounded for a day, a month, a year, burn your house down. Does not care. Totally immune to the punishment. And when you're dealing with that, I guess you could hit in that situation, but that only works until she's taller than you, which is, about 20 minutes from now with the way she's growing. And so we had to learn a totally new way of approaching. And so we ended up reading this book, Transforming the Difficult Child, which was phenomenal. It had this metaphor that it's an unfortunate metaphor now since the movie Blackfish came out. But basically, if you're training a killer whale, if you're training Shamu, it's immune to punishment. It doesn't care about being grounded, and you can't poke it with the stick, and it's not going to give a damn. So instead, how do you train it? And the answer is you only use positive reinforcement. You start by coiling up a rope in the corner of the pool, and you wait patiently until he just happens to swim by the rope, and you freak out. You're like, oh my God, you went by the rope. That's amazing. I have all the fish in the world. And then it figures out well, I go by that rope, and, then you lay the rope across the middle of the pool, and every time it crosses over it, you're like, I have all the fish. And then, you raise the rope, and then you add the sound effects, and before you know it, it's doing double backflips and getting all the fish because it's understood of its own of its own volition that it can, choose to. It's better to go for the positive reinforcement. And so likewise, your kids have televisions, they got video games, they've got every distraction in the world. And yet, how do they spend their time? Bugging you. And why are they doing that? Because out of all the things they have, you are their favorite toy. All they want is to know that you're paying attention to them. So the first step that we had to do was start acknowledging the kids and constantly finding them and pointing out what they're doing. And even when things are going bad, figure out a way to couch it as something good. So even if a kid is just sitting there watching TV on the couch, you walk by and you say, look at you. I see you all cool and collected, just taking it easy. Right on. And now, that's a nothing thing. That's totally neutral. They weren't doing anything good, but also it's good that they weren't doing anything bad. And you acknowledge that you are being seen. I am watching you. I am aware of you. And you do that 20 or 30 times a day. And it begins to be this, and the hardest part of this whole journey for us was you begin with a pledge that I steadfastly refuse to give any energy to any bad behavior at all. No energy whatsoever. Because, Penny would start to argue and fuss, and she could whip herself up to 11 on a scale of 1 to 10, but she can't do that by herself alone in the room. It takes two. She has to feed off of your energy. And they'd be like, no, but you said, and I said, and they're like now I'm screaming and you're screaming, and that's energy. And so instead, even if she's fighting with her sister, you walk over and you take a moment to, hey, let's take a moment to reset. Hey, what I really liked is other kids in that situation would actually hit their siblings. I really liked, I'm not thrilled that you yelled, but you didn't hit. And I really admire that self-control that you showed. Once you start reinforcing with all this positive energy, it's astonishing what has changed in the last year. And it's great as a family. Plus, the best part as a parent is, it was exhausting. I'd go to bed exhausted because I spent all day yelling at my kid about what's wrong. And instead, even though it's forced, even though it's manufactured, even though you're trying to find the good way to frame everything, it feels good to be giving these compliments to your kid. And it's this virtuous cycle where it's like, I feel good about my kid because I'm saying all these good things, and and she feels good. And I don't know, it's we're still moving in that direction in this, and there's times that it's stressful and difficult, but it's a challenge to not have that shortcut of being able to just give them a whooping or whatever.
So that's kind of amazing. I think we talked about that before. We talked about that maybe at South by when I was there. You were talking about just starting to do that, and it's great that it's been months more now, so it's been almost a year, and you're seeing the fruits of that labor. I was raised. I spent a lot of period with my grandparents, and my grandmother was the type of woman that would beat you sideways, up and down, like all day long, like just get in line. And my grandfather would be the one that would take you in the car, sit in the driveway, and talk to you and be like, "Hey, what's going on? Why would you do that? You don't want her up in here whooping on you. We don't." He was the one that would talk to you and try to set you straight. She was the one that would beat you. Then when I got back with my dad was the kind of guy that was like, I could set the house on fire, I could shoot somebody, and if I didn't take the trash out on that third time, I got beat. It was like 3 strikes, you're out. I got the first 2 for free, and then I got beat, and then it reset. So I always knew, like, I messed up 2 times. I could go a whole year without doing anything wrong and lose my mind and then get beat. So when it comes to her, I tried not to beat her. But it got to a point where, first of all, I'm in a separated relationship, so her mother is raising her in a completely different way than I do. I'm more of the, you're going to be self-sufficient, learn karate, maybe walk home every once in a while. She's the one, she needs to be coddled at all times and needs to be, it's her and her mom best friends. It's me and, hey, go play with 6 of your friends and be more social. So it got to the point where she was giving me attitude, and I was like, where's this attitude coming from? Again, she's being treated differently in 2 different homes. So right. I told her for 6 months, I'm like, look, I'm going to beat your butt one day, and you are not going to like it. Like, you are going to be upset when it happens. And so something came up, and she lied to me, and it was a little lie, but she was caught. And I said, when we get home, you're going to get beat. And we were still running around all day. And everywhere we went, I said, Lee's going to get her butt beat today. And they're like, what? They're like, what'd you do? And she's like, I lied. She had to tell like 8 people, right? So we get in the car.
Of course, like what she doesn't realize is like that's the real punishment.
Yeah, exactly. So, and I didn't want to do what was done to me, is beat in anger. My grandmother would be mad at me because I did something and then beat me. And then again, my grandfather would talk to me and my dad would give me leeway. So I wanted to give that leeway of, hey, I'm mad at you right now, but I'm not going to beat your butt till we get home tonight and I can be calm and not whatever. I got a wooden spoon. I spanked her first time. She started crying instantly. And I was like, all right, you got 3 more times. I'm going to hit you 4 times, and then we're going to be done. And I'm going to go get some ice cream. We're going to chill out, But this is your punishment. You got to do it. And after we got done with her 4 hits, she sat up and she looked at me and she's like, you are never going to do that to me again. I am sorry. I understand. I will not do it. And now every once in a while when she gets a little crazy, I'm like, you want me to beat your butt tonight? She's like, nope, I do not want that. That is not going to happen. And she resets herself because she knows. And I'm also a fan of hitting kids because it is easy. And now you made me feel bad because I take 3 of her friends out to go swimming. When they get to my car, I pluck them in the forehead. They know. They put their head down. I pluck them in their head or I smack them in the back of the head. They get in the car, and the first time it happened, they said, why'd you hit us? We didn't do anything. And I said, because we're going to this pool, and there's 4 of you, there's only 1 of me. So when I tell you to stop doing something because I can't have you dying on my watch, know that I hit you for no reason. So if you're messing up, I'm going to hit you if I tell you I'm going to hit you. and sure enough, at the end of the day, their dad told me to bring them home, and they were hungry. We've been swimming all day. They're like, we just want McDonald's. I'm like, your dad told me to bring you home. We're going to be home in 20 minutes. There's already dinner ready. Stop. And they kept saying it. I pulled the car over on the highway, and I'm like, somebody says the next time one of you kids says they're going to get their butt beat. And Leah looked at them and like, you do not want him to beat your butt. They were dead silent, fell asleep in 5 minutes in the car, and we went home. Now, I didn't have to hit them. And when I hit them in the forehead, I plucked them. I didn't hit them hard. But in their mind, they knew, like, man, he hit us for nothing.
Yeah.
he's gonna get us. So now I feel
established a credible threat.
Oh yeah, yeah. And the kids know me like that. The kids like, man, Owen don't play, man. Owen says something, you better listen. He be, and they act like I kill him, but and the kids love me. I tell all the time. I take them home. Their parents are like, he's so much fun. I love having all the fun in the world as long as you do what you're supposed to do. We can go to the park. Y'all can jump from trees. You do all day long. But if I say stop, it's usually for your own safety or because we got to go. But now I feel guilty because you done got this way. Because the way she is with her mom, we were watching a show and the same thing you're talking about. Snarky, the girl and the mom were fighting. And Leah's like, me and my mom get like that sometimes. And I looked at her. I was actually shocked for a second. I'm like, you've yelled at your mom? She's like, sometimes we just yell at each other. We get frustrated, and I get frustrated, and then I go to my room, and she goes to her room, and I'm sitting there looking at her, and I'm like, I couldn't imagine you raising your voice to me. She's like, I can't imagine me raising my voice to you either. And I'm like, don't do it to your mom. And she's like, Dad, she just frustrates me so much sometimes. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to stay out of that. Because I'm not trying to make any kind of conflict. And
boy, it really does. It makes it a delicate dance when you've got a separation situation like that. It's like your jurisdiction ends at some, and it's it's your kid, but also it's her parenting.
Yeah, and you got a unified front to which when you're unified, it's good for the kid because they're consistent. And again, her mother is a great mother, a great, positive, happy, nice person, and I'm not that positive and happy about the world. So she's like really good and sweethearted. I'm just like, hey, don't trust this. And in her mind, she's like, well, I don't want her to walk home by herself. I'm like, how do you do that? You think about everything being hunky-dory, but you don't want to let her do anything. I'm thinking I want her to do it so she learns how to take care of herself in the situation that could be dangerous or scary. So it's very different. Like, I wish I had a unified front on stuff, but then again, I'm thinking, well, what if the unified front isn't my type of front? Then I gotta, now I can't beat my kid. Like I said, I don't want to beat her, and I've tried. Like I said, I've only done it one time. She's 9. I feel proud about that. But you have danced that dance, very well.
Still working on it. And there's times, and it's tough too because
once they get older, you really don't want to beat them anyway. Once they get over not like you said, once they get to being like your height, it's like, well, now I'm just beating you up. It's not a spanking anymore because now you're so big. Like I said, I hit her with a spoon. Dude, you know what I'm saying? It wasn't like she didn't even have any bruises on her butt, But to her, it was a big deal because she was 5. But once she gets to being 10, I'm like, well, now I got to kind of beat you, and I don't want to beat you.
Well, and plus also and you probably don't have to deal with this as much because she's an only child, but like with 3 girls in the house, we cannot we can't even have a crack in that facade of saying that it's okay to start hitting because it's going to be a free for all.
Oh yeah.
Like when one kid hits another, it's like all of a sudden it's just like, it's like we have a meeting of the United Nations and we have to talk about the war crime that was just committed.
And that's the other thing too. Like you got the goof troop. Like when people always say, "Oh, Leah's so great and respectable," and all, I was like, I've only got one. I want another one, but I know, like I said, when I've got a group of kids, I'm in their face because it only takes a minute for a mutiny to happen. Yeah. And like I said, I'm out here by myself rolling deep. I've been at the park sometimes. I've had 6, 7 kids with me, and I'm not playing. I'm not. You see, sometimes I put the pictures up, proof of life. You know what I mean? That's what I always tag when I got somebody's kids. I tag proof of life. And I'm like, man, when they start wilding out, I got to check them real quick because when there's so many of them, it can just get all out of hand.
Yeah, sure.
And I usually try to divert, like sometimes, someone will get mad at one person, then the other one's got an issue. Then I just yell at everybody, so then everybody's mad at me for a second. And then they kind of like reset themselves because like you just see it. Like, so having them in the house together, 3's company too. Oh man.
Yeah. And it's weird too. Like, I don't know. I'm really excited on this 3rd kid because I'm actually around to see her growing up. It's like I was touring for most of Penny's formative years and I missed about half of Josie's, but now just being around doing dad stuff, it's pretty great. It's pretty great just being there to see the kids.
And they do grow quick. That's my, my whole thing when people are like, oh, you should work more and I could do this and that. But I'm like, I grew up in a broken home and my situation was weird where I didn't get to spend a lot of time with my dad. And then once my dad passed away, I'm trying to spend as much time with my kid while she's a kid as possible because at least, she knows I'm there. I ask her dumb stuff like, oh, do you want me to come watch you practice? The same thing you're saying for attention. She's like, yeah, come watch. I'm like, why do I got to watch you practice? You're just practicing, but she wants me there. I can afford to do it. I have the time to do it, so I do it.
Yeah.
And it's a totally different thing than when I was running around traveling all the time. And I was doing that when she was younger, so she didn't really notice it as much, but I noticed it.
Yeah, well, and she'll remember that, man, forever. She'll like, that's my biggest thing is I found myself getting careful about even suggesting things that might be possible, because like my first thought every day when I wake up is, okay, it's time to keep some promises. Like, that's what matters. Is like, I talked about like, oh, maybe one of these days we'll go camping. And then now it's every week Josie's asking like, when are we going camping, Dad? And it's like, and it's like, well, now we got to go camping. I can't have her be 23 years old, smoking dope, talking to somebody and be like, my dad always said we were going to go camping. We never went camping.
Oh, dude, that is one of the funny things. We're built the same when it comes to that. I told her she wants to do photography right now. Her thing, she wants to be a photographer. And so I got her a little camera. She has her phone too. But I was like, oh, we'll go to this place. They have flowers and at Christmas time they do Christmas lights. And I told her, like, look, the phone will beat me when the Christmas lights things get set up. And what was it for like the first 2 weeks after I told her? So when's the Christmas lights things going on? And I'm like, let it go. I told you we're going. So I tread very lightly because my daughter doesn't forget anything. So it makes me kind of like think like, do I really want to do this for her? Because if I tell her, I got to do it. And they won't stop. And you got 3 of them, so they'll really be on you.
Yeah,
for
man.
What's going on?
Does Leah run with like a pack of friends? Like, do you have a neighborhood she goes over and visits them, and the gaggle of them all come in and out?
So yeah. She's got like 3 or 4 different troops of friends. So she's always got, girls around and boys around. She plays a lot of sports, so it's a very mixed group, which I just got to deal with. But she's got friends in strange places. We're not in the same kind of community you are. So where I'm at now, she has more friends locally. Where I just moved from wasn't in the town she went to school in, so she only knew the neighbor kids. That was it. She didn't really know anybody else. But now she comes home after school. Can we go play basketball? And again, yay, go outside and play basketball, which ends up being they shoot 4 hoops and shoot musicallys, but whatever, they're outside.
Yeah, they're outside. Man, can you think about like how insane it is? We want to think back to how idyllic our childhoods were, but I think back on it, it's like all I remember is so much time not being supervised. Just coming and going, and then like parents leaving the house, and I'm 8 years old, and I'm like whatever, and it's like just the ability like I remember at the age of I guess 12. No, I was 11 turning 12, and when we were living in Norway, I would take the city bus all the way to downtown Stavanger, meet up with friends, just go around downtown, and then take the bus home. And that whole time, there was no calling and checking in. And it's like, on the one hand, it's like how quaint. But on the other hand, I'm like, that's insane. I would never do that nowadays.
See, now this is the thing that bothers me now. So we're getting built by the same people that make fun of participation trophies. We didn't do that. It was done to us. We got set free. So, man, Dyfus don't listen to my podcast. So I was telling you earlier, I want Leah to do things on her own. So this is going to sound bad. When she was 5, I set up my laptop with Skype or FaceTime, whatever, and I had Leah sit on the couch watching one of her shows. I said, I'm going to the store. Don't get off this couch till I get back. Don't open the door if somebody knocks on it. Don't answer the phone. Don't move. Sit on this couch. Only thing you can do is go to the bathroom. Gave her a juice box, gave her some cookies. I said, don't move. I get out, go in my car. I pull out of the driveway, and I sit there and I watch her. I sat there for an hour.
Just to see if she
would move. I pulled back in the driveway. I went inside. I'm like, did you move? She's like, Dad, I did not move. I'm like, don't lie to me. Did you move? She's like, I've been sitting here watching this show the whole time. I'm like, all right. Testing, because what if something happened? I had to leave my 5-year-old home alone. Fast forward to her.
I've totally done that. And now, man, holy cow. Now we're at that awesome edge where it's like we can leave the 12-year-old looking after the kids. We could go out for a whole hour to dinner. It's amazing.
Well, that's what I was going to ask. Are you doing that now that she's 12? Like, what was the age where you were like, hey, you stay here and watch the kids? Like, what?
Yeah, what the defining factor, like we would leave Penny alone for it's probably not the kind of thing you talk about on podcasts. Like
theoretically.
But the big factor was having the youngest kid. Now that Calliope is 3.5, almost 4, you know, like she's got her act together well enough that we can leave. To be honest, like Penny's got a friend who's like 15, and so it's like just have your older friend come over and hang out with you, and that's good enough.
So here's the thing about that: Leah's 9, her bestie is 13, and Leah has more responsibility than her 13-year-old. Like, I let Leah ride her bike down the street to her friend's house. Now, it's 6 blocks away, and the first time she did it, I drove to the big main cross street, and she crossed over, and then I drove to the house. And I said, I'll meet you there. And 20 minutes later, she shows up all sweaty. She's like, man, that was a lot of pedaling, like, to get over here. I'm like, right? You know what I mean? And so her mom's like, you let her ride her bike by herself. I was like, we used to ride our bikes to different towns.
Yeah, man.
She's riding 6 blocks to her friend's house. Like, what are we doing to these kids that we don't let them do anything? And then we complain that they can't do anything. Like, you've got to give them responsibility. And my daughter's a ninja. She's a brown belt. Like, at least she knows how to throw a punch and kick somebody in case somebody tried to come up on her. At least she can make an effort to defend herself. So I'm like, what are we doing that we can't let? Because her older friend, her mom won't let her walk home from school. It's a walking district. Someone has to pick her up and drop her off, and she only lives 5 blocks from the school. And I'm like, why don't you just let? We don't know what's going. I was like, and they've had 5 other kids. The other 5 kids are grown. They're like, my mom used to make us walk 3 miles to school. Now all of a sudden it's we can't let her walk on her own, and I'm not gonna. I'm like, what is this mentality now that we can't trust these kids or let them do anything? Like, everybody is so scared.
Well, there was an article about a family doing the extraordinary thing of, like, I think it was an 8-year-old kid who was just like, I think I want to try riding the subway by myself and, like, going from one part of the town to another part of the town. And they were like, are you sure you want this? Yeah. And it's like, okay, well, you know, put a cell phone in your backpack and drop you off here. And, you know, and you know, he got really excited and checking out the different bus routes and getting his bus tokens or whatever. And it's like that stuff was the law of the land back when we were kids.
And even it still is in major cities. You go to New York, like when I'm there during the day, during the school year, you see tons of kids on the subway, on the bus, getting themselves to school.
Yep.
Because that's how they have to do it. But they're young, and it's what has to happen. There isn't a bus to come and get them.
Being out in Texas, especially, you know, on the fringes of Austin, you know, it's
3 daughters.
Yeah, exactly.
In Texas.
You gotta drive. You know, you gotta be driven. You know, and then Austin went and screwed up Uber for us. Uber and Lyft. I was all excited. So, all right, tell me this. This is a point of contention between me and the missus. Would you have any hesitations about your daughter riding in an Uber?
I would not. I have friends that do it, and they live in the city, though. So, again, I wouldn't. How old is the daughter? The 12-year-old or the 9-year-old?
We'll say the 12-year-old. Like, for example, I was saying, like, hey, what if you did? Because Bonnie has 3 hours of commuting. It's 45 minutes into town, 45 minutes out of town, twice a day with the traffic and everything. And I'm just like, man, what if we saved enough money that we could just figure out a way to Uber? And she was like, no, I would never do that. I was like, why? It's like, well, you know, because Uber's, you don't know who it is, or, you know, my daughter, I wouldn't feel safe. I'm just like, you know much more than with just a cab. You know, you have their name, and you can physically track where they are the entire ride.
In the instance of you just saying that, I just realized I would let my kid use an Uber, and now I'm more justified because same thing with Black Liaison. I've had people ask me all kinds of questions like that, but somebody asked me that question before, and I'm like, am I a privileged white person for sending my kid in Uber? I'm like, you don't know your bus driver.
Yeah.
Do you know who the bus driver is? You know what I mean? The bus driver that had that accident, pot smoking, whatever, and killed somebody driving. You don't know him. So what's the difference between this guy who's got a 4+ star rating, who's trying to make a living, and you get to make the decision when you walk out that door, like, hey, you know, my kid's coming in your car. I'm here. I've seen you. I know all your information. Get my kid there.
Yeah, right.
So I wouldn't have a problem with that.
Yeah, I don't know. But then again, I also feel like we're not allowed to really speak to that because We're not women. I think that Bonnie certainly has this kind of low grade radar at all times, situational awareness. And I guess that's something smart for, to install in our daughters as well.
Well, that's a thing again, where I'm on the whole Ninja Gaiden raising warriors thing, where when I found out that she was having a girl, I almost broke the windshield of my car. I was so angry.
Why?
Oh, bro. Oh, man. See, I should tell the story, but I'll tell it here because people listen, but I'll tell the story again separately. So we went in there to find out if it was a girl or boy, and the doctor said, it's a girl. I walked out of the room. I was mad. I get in the car and I'm waiting. She comes out and she's like, what is wrong with you? And I'm like, okay, I'm going to need you to not talk the rest of the ride home. We can talk about it when we get home. And she's like, you are crazy. What is the problem? And I punched the dash and I'm like, didn't I tell you not to do it? I'm like, you know what my problem is? My problem is that I have a woman to raise in this world. And not only is she a black woman, which I got to deal with that, which is extra special. Just like I've had a black son and you got to tell him don't get shot by the cops. There's stuff you got to tell black women. But you're her mother. And you are a nice, sweet, wholesome, fairy tale, prairie farm girl. Your dad was an Eagle Scout. You think the world is the way the world is. And you've had things happen to you as a woman because you're so nice. So now I've got to counteract your nicety to make sure that my daughter can take care of herself. And I am livid right now. Can't stand it. And so when
you felt like you just got handed a sentence. Like it was like all of a sudden, the moment you found out I was a girl, you're like, there will be a divide. There will be a gap between us starting this exact minute because I need to make her tough.
And it's not even the fact of, girl versus boy, it's just the fact of all the extra work I have to do, because in my mind I said, man, if something happens to her, okay, I got sisters. And I've known things have happened to them. Because, again, my dad was in a broken home, and sometimes they're with the mom, and then, you know what I mean? Like, certain things fly that other ones don't, and things happen. Next thing you know, my dad's trying to kill some dude. And I'm like, I can't live like that. So I told her, I said, look, you got two options. Either I start feeding this child sugar, putting lighters and matches in her eyes, and mess up her teeth, or you let me send her to ninja school and have her be a natural born killer. And she's like, what are you talking about? I'm like, look, I will have her be the most overweight, blind, buck-toothed girl on the planet. And when she's 20,
being interested.
And when she's 22 and some guy says, oh, Mr. Stone, I love your daughter, I'll get her some braces, I'll get her some contacts, and I'll put her on a treadmill. I'm like, here you go. This is what you deserve. Otherwise, I need her, like, my mentality for Leah is when she goes to date, she has to have 2 belts, 2 black belts. So if she ever came home and was beat, I say, what hospital is he in? I ain't got to ask what happened. When the guy comes, Mr. Stone, I'm gonna have her back at 9:30. Bitch, you gonna have her home when she wanna be home. I'm not gonna be sitting up at night worrying about her. I asked her, how old do you think you'll be before you can take me or slow me down? She's like, probably like 16. And we be fighting and we be struggling. And I grip her up all the time and I make her fight to get out. Even though she does the cry stuff like that, she's like, Dad, you're too big. I'm like, and sometimes these other people are gonna be too big for you too. And you still need to fight to get out. Like I said, when people say, how do you sleep at night? I'm raising a killer. I don't know how anybody else sleeps at night because I can't do it, dude. Like I said, I had sisters. I've heard things. I've seen things. And you and me are nice guys. And, but even us nice guys have been around guys that are nice guys but aren't that nice. And you're just like, grab them by the pussy. And I'm like, I can't deal with that. I can't. So it's a weird thing for me because I was angry. I was so angry.
Yeah, man.
I'm better now, though. I'm
You're still angry at her.
Oh, yeah. Every once in a while, and again, her mom tries to throw it in my face. Oh, you always wanted a boy. I was like, it wasn't even about it being a boy, because even being a boy, I have issues to deal with. But it's just like, people don't realize when you have a girl, okay, just think of prom, okay?
Yeah.
Prom. You got a boy, you run him a tux for $100. You help him rent a car with 4 of his buddies. You give him a condom. You say, don't get anybody pregnant and don't get arrested. Ha ha! Have fun, sport.
Yep.
A girl, dress, hair, nails, purse, makeup. Then I'm just like, I just spent $2,000 getting you sexy for some dude that's trying to fuck you.
Yeah.
And then I got to make sure that, hey, my whole goal is to make sure that nobody takes it from her. I can't stop her from having sex. I just want to make sure that nobody takes it from her.
Yeah,
so,
sure.
Again, just in the prom mode, I got to spend all this money to get the girl all sexified up and then hand her off to some dude that's only been told, don't get her pregnant, don't get arrested, go get him, kill her. And I'm like, come on, man.
Wow.
You never thought about that?
I'm thinking about it now.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's a crazy proposition, and that's just the starting point, Brian. That's the first thing that came to my mind when I heard I had a girl. I'm like, she's gonna go to prom one day. I'm gonna spend all my money to make her beautiful to serve her up to some dude. And now I got to make sure that she picks the right kind of dudes and like you said, be a good dad, be there in their life so they don't have daddy issues. And, they know what a good man looks like. And, you're in a solid home so they know what love and stuff looks like. Like, Leah's anti-relationship. I don't bring women around her like that. And if I do it in a friendly manner, one time she asked me if I was gay. Like, she said,
really?
She's like, do you like guys? And I'm like, no. She's like, oh, because you don't ever really date anybody, and mom dates people. I was just wondering, and because she has an uncle that's gay, so she knows what gay is.
Yeah, sure.
But I was like, no, I'm not. She's like, okay, I was just checking. So, just wondering. And I was cracking up because I'm like, man, I really keep it solid. But her mom has dated people, and she's gotten mad at her mom. I didn't like him hugging you. I didn't like him touching you.
So has Leah ever seen you and her mom as a couple?
No,
or
not that she remembers.
Yeah,
we haven't been a couple since she was like 3. So in her mind, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. It's all well. I mean, and I'll tell you what. If you're gonna do it, be glad you guys made the split early on, so that it's not this traumatic moment. Hold on. Speaking of kiddos, we got hey Calliope, can you say hi to Owen?
Hi. That is a cool wand. Is that a Mickey Mouse finger?
Yeah.
Princess.
You're a princess?
Yeah.
What kind of princess?
A cat one.
A cat one?
Princess. Yeah.
I'm also the cat princess.
Elsa, the cat princess.
Okay, so you're an ice cat.
All right. Well, hey, I'm chatting with Owen. Can you go play? Is Josie home?
Yeah.
Okay, here, go play with Josie. Go give her a hug. Every so often, it feels like you got under control. That's a good feeling.
Well, see, technically that was perfect timing because we were in here talking about the kids the whole dang show. So it was only right that she would pop up with her magic wand.
Guest appearance.
So even that stuff, like, so see that, like, I'm such a, like, you're making me feel really bad today. So
What do you mean?
Leah is not allowed to do any princess stuff, right? So that was one of my rules early. I got really weird rules, bro. That was one of my rules early on. I don't call her princess. On her birthday, she was never allowed to have any princess stuff. And it got to the point where I wouldn't tell her no about it. We just didn't do it. And when she started picking on Halloween costumes, the only princess she's picked so far is Princess Leia, which is acceptable because there's no crown or tiara. And she told me one time, she's like, Dad, when I was 7, I went out with my grandparents, her mom's parents, and she's like, they brought me a tiara and a thing. And I'm like, why would you do that? She's like, I'm not a princess. She's like, I don't live in Monaco or England. And I'm like, I love you so much. Like, you're not a princess. Because the thing is, again, I'm weird. You gotta think. I'm gonna make you think about some stuff tonight. So think about Halloween. I think in big themes, bro. Proms, Halloween. How many princesses do you see? All of them.
I didn't see nearly as many this year. I don't know.
Now we're in the age where things are a little bit better at post Elsa, but think about like Elsa and before, and like when princesses come out, when the movies come out, people are princesses. So you never see a prince though.
That's true. Somebody's a dandy fop walking around.
Yes. So there's Superman, Batman, Spider-Man, unavailable dudes with no parents, and get every woman they ever been with killed, are running around. Go get him, killer. Go get him, tiger. But these girls are, I'm Sleeping Beauty. I'm the far, and I'm like, see, all these women need to be saved. But
wasn't that one of the best parts about Moana?
Yes. We forgot to even talk about that. We started skipping, didn't even talk about the movie. So that was one of the let me tell you something else too on my racial tip. Disney has had to flip their script because they're making more ethnic princesses. I'm not more ethnic cartoon movies.
Right.
And all these females that are ethnic are strong, independent women.
Oh, dude, that was my favorite part of Moana, is the parts where they turned the conventional Disney tropes on their ear, where even like the fact of him calling her a princess, and she's like, I don't need a princess. You're like, your dad's the king, and you got a cute animal sidekick.
Yeah, like that's it, and that's the thing. So think about Princess and the Frog. She wasn't a princess. She was a hardworking girl. Her dad passed away. She had 3 jobs. The Melania thing, the Asian one, she was like a little warrior thing. Even Pocahontas was out there kicking butt. So I'm like, every time there's an ethnic one now, they're all like these gung-ho, brave, I guess. But she was even Celtic. She wasn't your typical European, because Irish and Scottish are anti the classic European. Everybody else gets to have these strong female characters. They need a strong white woman to come in here and not be Beauty and the Beast or Cinderella, relying on magic and some dude to come give them a shoe.
Dude, I just did that Ancestry.com DNA kit thing.
So,
I just got confirmation.
My friend just told me about that last night. I want to do that now. She did 23andMe. Which one did you use?
I did Ancestry.com. We're talking about doing a sponsorship deal. So don't do it yet. Wait till I have a promo code to give you.
Gotcha.
But it looks really cool. I had to fill up a vial full of my spit, and they sent me a confirmation email today. I guess I'll find some stuff out.
That's awesome. So Moana, the chicken.
Oh, it's great. It was just big middle finger. Like, yeah, you need to have a sidekick. How about this? He's going to be totally useless and dumb as a rock. And they even background gags.
And it was totally a FU because she could have had the pig, which was useful.
Yeah.
The pig is useful. And the pig was like, you know what? Forget that, big. You took me out in this walk. I'm too smart to go out with you. Like, a smart sidekick animal's like, I'm not going on this crazy adventure with you.
Dude, I loved having Jermaine Clement from Flight of the Conchords show up midway through doing his best David Bowie Goblin King impression.
Yeah.
It was good. And that set piece where the coconuts are trying to steal the MacGuffin, and it's straight up Mad Max Fury Road, which is awesome because like they've definitely said like no, that's us doing Mad Max, which is funny because Mad Max was doing a naval battle. Mad Max was let's have ships at sea, only they're 18-wheelers, and do a naval battle on the road, and so then they flipped that and like let's do Mad Max in the boats.
It was that part was really fun for me, and it's funny because do you watch adult movies with the kids?
Oh sure.
Case in point, like have they seen Deadpool?
Oh no.
So when I say adult movies,
kids
that's what I
don't
mean by adult movies.
Yeah. Well, like, man, I think like the kids just don't really like violence. I think the most adult thing I've been able to get Penny to watch was The Matrix. She, I realized we were watching Kung Fu Panda, and I realized that Kung Fu Panda is just The Matrix. And and then I sat Penny down and made her watch, and like 3 times she's like, yeah, I don't, Dad, can I go? I'm like, no, you're gonna watch it and you're gonna be amazed.
See, again, it's that thing I guess of having, it's that separation thing, because Leah will watch anything with me. We went and saw Mission Impossible, like the latest one, and she's like, this guy's super cool, Dad. Are there really spies like that? And I'm sitting there thinking she wouldn't even care about it. We went and saw Deadpool, and we watched all the X-Men's and Wolverines, and I knew this one was going to be worse, but the only part she got squeamish at is when the dude's head got chopped off. She was like, okay, woo, that was like, woo. Everything else was like, she could deal with it, but that part she was like, oh my goodness, like that is so bad. Like, did you see Keanu with
What's
the cat?
That?
Did you see Keanu with the cat?
I did not, but I'm familiar with it.
You should watch it. We went and saw that, right? So we go into the theater, and there's a dad there with his 19-year-old daughter and his 20-year-old son. I'm like, oh, what are you guys seeing? We're like, Lee's like, we're seeing Keanu. And the dad's going to be like, what? How old are you? She's like, I'm 8. And he's like, you're taking her to see Keanu? And I was like, yeah. He's like, well, I already saw it, and I'm taking the kids to see it because I thought it was funny. He's like, what are you going to do when they go into the strip club? And Leah's like, what's a strip club? And I'm like, well, we have this system where if I touch her knee, she closes her eyes. If I touch her shoulder, she keeps her eyes closed and closes her ears. And if I tap her, then she opens them up. So that's what happens when in Deadpool when they have their little 30-second sex scene. You know what I mean? And so we get through movies in that with that system where she doesn't see it. And then later on, she told me the other week, she's like, I can't wait till I grow up and I get to see the parts of the movies I don't get to see. Because she thinks it's violent. She doesn't know that it's sexual content.
So that's interesting. Like my kids just don't have any interest in any of that stuff. I think Penelope is aware that universally childhood is, specifically childhood innocence, is regarded as something precious and special, and as a result she understands that she should hold on to hers as long as she can. And it's like as a result, if anything feels too adult, she's just like, look, I got the rest of my life to be jaded and to find all this stuff entertaining. For right now, I'm just gonna keep being me.
Leah has a morbid curiosity to tell her friends that she's seen things that they could never see.
Yep.
She loves going to school. Like, I saw Deadpool, and all the boys are like, what? And she's like, yeah, it was crazy. You know what I mean? Like, she likes being a little field reporter. And again, it's just us spending that quality time where my dad would have me watching that stuff, and I'm not going to. It's sexist for me to say, well, I used to watch Bloodsport and stuff when I was 8. I'm not going to not let her watch it. And if she told me she didn't want to watch it, then we don't. But I also trained her. Like, we watched all the Teen Titans and we watched all the cartoon superhero movies where, again, there's less blood, but there's just so much violence and people getting laser beamed and shot and all that kind of stuff. So it prepped her for it. Like, right now we're watching Smallville, where there's a different kind of superpower thing every week. And, my favorite thing about that, as far as the girl is concerned, is it's not the Disney girls that are witchy to each other. It's the high school, I like her, she doesn't like me, he's using me. And she's like, he shouldn't do that because he's just using her for that. She's learning manipulation, how people act, especially high school level. Like, why are they doing that? She's like, I would never date him, Dad. She's like, he is really handsome and good looking, but he just doesn't treat her right. Why would she stay with him if he keeps treating her like that? And I'm like, right? Who would do that? Millions of women across the world, Leah. But yes, as far as we're concerned, we know better. We would never do that.
That's amazing.
It's very interesting. We only got like 4 more minutes left, so we're almost done.
Dude, well, I guess so we covered a lot. Go see Moana.
Go see Moana. Raise your daughters in the kindest and harshest way possible. It's like a flip a coin kind of situation. Your girls are doing good, my girls doing good, so they can take either coin side on that.
Yeah, I'll tell you. So the whole flip a coin thing is like, the nice thing about having 3 is like, if one of them doesn't like a thing, their odds are good one of the other 2 will. But that also means if one of them is good and can be trusted on something, that means one of the other 3 can't. That means I definitely get the bad side of that too.
Yeah, it's funny. Do you girls any of you girls play sports?
Yeah. Penny's played sports. Josie was doing kung fu for a bit, and she's taken off from that. But the soccer, all that stuff.
Okay. Yeah, I like that kind of like team camaraderie, girl power building, for a lot of things. She plays like all the sports, and she's not really good at really any of them. She
ain't good at nothing.
No, and I tell her all the time, like, look, I'm not the type of parent to be out here like, I need you to be Jordan, you're going to be the best kid ever. My thing is just give effort, like, if you want to do it, at least you're trying. And there's a lot of kids, quote unquote, sitting on the couch and aren't even trying. So don't beat yourself up because you're not the best person on the team. At least you're out here and you pick certain things that you're good at. You stick to those things.
That's one of the best things I learned from the book Freakonomics was, like, by demographics, they separate kids. Like, do kids that take piano lessons do better than kids who don't? Or what about soccer and all that stuff? And ultimately, their takeaway was, it doesn't matter what you do as a parent. What matters is, it only matters who you are. Like, basically, you can, and as a result, one of the authors changed his whole philosophy on it. He's just like, watch as much TV as you want or whatever. Like by the numbers, it doesn't matter what I tell you. You're either going to be great or not. And it's like that's got to be a very liberating feeling.
That's what I was thinking too. Like, you got 3 daughters. Like, not for nothing. My dad had 5 kids, and I'm quote unquote known as the best one, doing the best or whatever. And I'm like, man, he hit 1 out of 5. You know what I mean? Like, you got 3. You might hit 3 for 3. You might hit 1 for 3. You might hit 2 for 3.
With all real.
I've only got one, and I'm like, don't you mess this up. I only have one lottery ticket. You got to come through, Lee. You have no other options but to be semi-okay in life, so I don't have to deal with no mess. I don't want to have you on TV ruining my good name. So, yeah, it's funny way to think about it. Go ahead and plug some stuff, Brian. For
Dude, I only got one thing I want to plug. The new Modern Rogue channel is just amazing. It seems to be blowing up this week. Everything's kind of calming down, but like last week we had our first video really take off and go viral. There's like 42 episodes on there, and they're just really good. It's me and Jason Murphy doing all the stuff that was too dangerous for hacking the system. And basically, if Harry Houdini, James Bond, and Han Solo had a baby, it would be the Modern Rogue.
What's the coolest thing you guys did? Like the funnest thing you did?
We tested a semi-automatic pepper spray handgun. It has a 7-shot magazine of these. They look like paintballs pellets, but they're hard. And when they crack open, it releases a mixture of tear gas and pepper spray. And that was pretty insane. And then, but the one that went,
wait, no, don't you can't skip that. Did either one of you get shot with one of these?
We half-assed it. We shot next to Jason, and he walked into the cloud, and it was instantly debilitating. He just walked in. It was just like, I'm blind. It was insane,
man.
And then.
Ooh, you made me so mad. I wish one of y'all would have put on like 4 sweaters and just took that charge for somebody.
We did.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can watch the episode. I put a piece of cardboard in there.
Okay. Yeah.
It hit, and I was like, oh, yeah, wow, that looked like that really would have hurt. And then I pulled out the cardboard, and it's like it had busted through like 4 layers of cardboard. I was like, oh, damn.
Wow, yeah, okay. Yeah.
But the one that went viral was we made Pruno, a.k.a. prison wine. We followed the recipe. It was gnarly stuff.
Well, those sound like 2 cool episodes. I've checked out a couple times. I've seen it, but I got to go hunt for those, which is probably gonna make me end up getting in my zone where I got to watch all of them, and I start quoting you in my sleep because
hopefully
I'm trapped in the Schwood.
Leah tells you you're not allowed to watch the Modern Rogue anymore, Dad.
You tried to shoot me with pepper, Dad. Why are you sprinkling pepper all over me? Look, just shut up. Take this pepper, because that's what Brian told me to do. This has been a great episode. I want to talk about the kids. We got stuck on the kids. I didn't think we were going to be on that much, but I think this is a great thing for people to listen and hear about you, because you don't usually get to talk in this manner, in this fashion, because the man does 82,000 shows, people. Like I said, check out the Modern Rogue, but I mean, the whole man's life is just exposed on the internet. I mean, if you want his social, you could probably get it on Google. Make sure you follow him on Twitter, too. Brian Brushwood is just an amazing person. And if you like the show and you still like me and you're still here, and I told you like I told you before, Patreon, just pennies a day, will keep the doctor not away, but I'll be here. And then if you don't have any money, like I said, you got YouTube. Yeah, subscribe to my YouTube. That's what you do, because I need some more YouTube subscribers. I lost my old YouTube account, so now I'm back down to like nothing. So
how do you lose an old account?
So, long story short, I had one of those original accounts, and then they forced me into putting an email address on it.
Yeah.
And when I tried to put in the email address on it, it was all fine and working. One day I go back in, it kicked me out. I had to log back in with the email. It can't register my email.
Oh.
And so when I hit the thing to reset it, it's not sending it. Now, I've for years just logged in under ODoctor79 in my password. So when they made me change my email, I did what they said. I followed the instructions. I changed it. And then a month later, something glitched, and I can't get back in there. And so I've got, 2-3 million views, 5, 6, 7,000 subscribers just twisting in the wind. And
I'll tell you what, though.
YouTube won't contact you. We know people over there. I couldn't get anybody to respond to me to help me get my account back. I got money racking up in there.
Wow.
Like my ad money. And so
there's gotta be a way to fix that.
I've been trying. So if you know somebody a little bit closer to something that I could ask to me, because I know it's me. I'm like, look, it's me. I'm not trying to steal somebody else's account. You know,
Yeah.
like I did get some of my money. The last time they sent me a check saying, you haven't been acknowledged in your thing. Do you want your money? I sent them a letter back with another letter saying, I'm locked out of my account. Somebody help me. And all they did was send me the check for the money. And I'm like, I don't want this money. I need those subscribers. They need me, my people. So,
well, I'll tell you what, the good thing though, like launching the Modern Rogue, like it was hard because every time we posted it on the Scam School channel, it'd get like 200,000 views or whatever. Launching the new channel, suddenly we had to be like, 20,000 views on launch. But the good news is like by having that new channel, and you may experience the same thing, you've got uniform content, and YouTube algorithm likes homogeneous. It wants it all the same. And my personal account is a hodgepodge of a billion different things. So the algorithm's like, I'm not recommending this. I don't know that they're going to like it, but it's like with every episode being the same, and the algorithm likes that.
Oh, that makes me feel better about it. So, yeah, if you're listening out there, subscribe on YouTube, get on iTunes. DocTales, woo. I don't know if you're still listening, but you just heard from two dads that are probably better than you. You probably need to step your game up or send us your kids for Brushwood Stone Boot Camp. We going to do it out here for the kids.
Speaking of which, I just realized I'm going to go. It's been an hour. I haven't laid eyes on the kids.
I know. Go love the family. Later, guys.